Before the tournament, I looked at Group K and said, Portugal first, Colombia second, DR Congo third, Uzbekistan fourth. And honestly, that felt pretty safe. Portugal had the deepest squad. Colombia looked strong enough for second. DR Congo looked dangerous, but maybe not quite ready to steal direct qualification. And Uzbekistan were the debutants with a brutal draw. But after match day 1, right, I need to talk. Because Portugal did not beat DR Congo. They drew 1-1. Colombia did beat Uzbekistan, but even that match was not completely comfortable. And suddenly, Group K looks a lot less predictable than my first script made it sound. Portugal had loads of the ball against DR Congo, loads of passes, loads of control. And somehow, only one shot on target. One. That is not domination, that is a very expensive passing drill. So today, I'm going to do 3 things. First, I'm going to audit my original prediction. Then, I'm going to admit where I was right, where I was wrong, and where I was being a bit too generous. And finally, I'm going to predict the rest of Group K again, based on what these teams actually showed on the pitch. Right, let's get into it. Let's start with Portugal versus DR Congo. My original prediction was Portugal 2, DR Congo 1. The actual result, Portugal 1, DR Congo 1. So I got one thing right. DR Congo were dangerous. I said they could score. I said their physicality, pace, and transition threat could make Portugal uncomfortable. That part was correct. But I was wrong about Portugal doing enough to win. Because Portugal did not look like a team calmly taking control of the group. They looked like a team with elite players, beautiful midfielders, technical quality everywhere. And then, in the final third, everyone suddenly forgot what the goal was for. 75% possession, hundreds and hundreds of passes, and one shot on target. Lovely. Really nice if the objective was to complete a passing certification course. Less useful if you're trying to win a World Cup match. Portugal started well. João Neves scored early. The opening 20 minutes looked promising. The ball moved quickly. The midfield had control. DR Congo were being pushed back. And then Portugal just lost shape, lost rhythm, lost sharpness. They became slower. They became safer. And once the match settled, DR Congo grew into it. That is the problem. If you do not kill a team like DR Congo early, they start believing. And DR Congo believed. They defended compactly. They stayed aggressive in duels. They used their athleticism. They broke forward quickly. And Yohan Wissa scoring their first World Cup goal, that is not just a nice story. That is a serious warning. Because DR Congo did not look scared. They did not look like a team happy to be here. They looked like a team thinking, hang on, Portugal are letting us play. And they took advantage. Now I have to talk about Ronaldo. Because obviously I do. Ronaldo started, he played the full match, he had chances, he missed them, and he had very few touches compared with Portugal's other key players. Now this does not mean Ronaldo is finished. Let's not turn every match into a funeral. But it does mean the conversation is real. If Portugal are circulating the ball beautifully, but the striker is not getting involved, not finishing, and not helping the attack feel fluid, then maybe the problem is not just service. Maybe the whole attacking structure needs a rethink. Martinez defended him, which is what managers do. Fine, but Portugal have too much talent to become a team whose main attacking plan is, eventually, someone cross it to Cristiano and hope history repeats itself. That is not enough, not anymore. Now let's talk about Uzbekistan versus Colombia. My original prediction was Uzbekistan 0, Colombia 2. The actual result? Uzbekistan 1, Colombia 3. So I got the winner right. Colombia did their job. 3 points, 3 goals, top of the group. Very nice. But again, the details matter. Because Colombia were better, yes, but they were not completely comfortable for 90 minutes. Uzbekistan sat deep, they worked hard, they defended with discipline for long periods. And after halftime, they actually grew into the match. They equalized. They scored their first ever World Cup goal. And for a few minutes, Colombia had that look big teams get when the easy match suddenly becomes a real football match. You know the look, a bit of blinking, a bit of pointing, a bit of, hang on, why are they attacking us? But then, Colombia responded. And this is where the difference in quality showed. Luis Díaz was the key man. Goal, assist, direct running, real threat. Every time Colombia needed something sharp, he looked like the player most likely to provide it. Daniel Munoz scored. Jaminton Campaz killed the game late, and Colombia showed they have enough attacking power to punish opponents when the game opens up. But there is a warning. Colombia relied heavily on Díaz. James Rodriguez was quieter than expected, and Colombia's own coach basically admitted they had moments where too much possession became a problem. That is interesting, because against Uzbekistan, you can get away with that. Against DR Congo, maybe not. If Colombia start moving the ball backwards too often, if they slow the match down without creating enough, DR Congo will be delighted. Because DR Congo do not need you to be perfect. They just need you to be slightly careless. One loose pass, one bad rest defense, one fullback too high, one center back stepping out. Which is brave, let's call it brave. And suddenly, Wissa or Bakambu are running into space. So Colombia won. Good. But they are not untouchable. They are top of the group, but they still have a serious tactical test coming. After match day 1, the table is Colombia, 3 points. DR Congo, 1 point. Portugal, 1 point. Uzbekistan, 0 points. And that is already different from what I expected. Colombia are in control. DR Congo are alive. Portugal are under pressure. Uzbekistan are bottom, but not hopeless. The key thing is psychological. Colombia feels strong because they won. DR Congo feel dangerous because they took a point from Portugal. Portugal feel frustrated because they were supposed to lead the group, and Uzbekistan feel like they have already got the nerves out of the system. That matters. Before the tournament, the key match was Colombia versus DR Congo. That is still true. But now Portugal versus Uzbekistan is massive as well, because Portugal cannot afford another draw. If they fail to beat Uzbekistan, then Group K becomes a proper mess. Not fake drama, real drama. The kind where Portugal fans start doing maths and everyone pretends they enjoy permutations. Nobody enjoys permutations. Nobody normal anyway. The next match is Portugal versus Uzbekistan. And for Portugal, this is simple. Win. No excuses. No, we controlled the game. No, we had the ball. No, the structure was better after the 79th minute. No, win the match. Because if Portugal draw again, they go into Colombia needing a result. And that is not where they want to be. The good news for Portugal is that Ruben Díaz should be back. That helps. It gives them more defensive authority, more leadership, more control in the back line. And against Uzbekistan, Portugal should have most of the ball again. The question is what they actually do with it. Because possession is not the problem. Portugal can possess the ball in their sleep. The issue is penetration. Can they move Uzbekistan's block? Can they create proper chances? Can Bruno Fernandes actually find runners in dangerous zones? Can Bernardo Silva and Vitinha speed up the tempo when the game gets stuck? Can Rafael León or Pedro Neto attack 1v1 instead of everything becoming too tidy? And most importantly, can Portugal finish? Because against DR Congo, the final third was not good enough. Uzbekistan will defend deep. They will stay compact. They will try to frustrate Portugal. They will look for Shomurodov as an outlet. They will use Faizulev between the lines if they can. And after scoring against Colombia, they will believe they can hurt Portugal too. But I still think Portugal respond. They have too much quality not to. And after the criticism, they should come out sharper. They need to. My prediction, Portugal win. Most likely scores, Portugal 2, Uzbekistan 0, or Portugal 2, Uzbekistan 1. I'm choosing Portugal 2, Uzbekistan 0, but I'll say this clearly. If Portugal are still passing beautifully with no shots on target after 60 minutes, the atmosphere will get very uncomfortable, and frankly, they would deserve it. Now the real match of the group. Colombia versus DR Congo. This is the pivot. This is the game that decides whether Group K becomes predictable again or turns into chaos. Colombia have 3 points. DR Congo have 1. If Colombia win, they are basically through. If DR Congo get a draw, they stay very alive. If DR Congo win, then Colombia suddenly have Portugal last, and the whole group becomes a lovely little headache. Tactically, this is a brilliant matchup. Colombia want the ball. They want James involved. They want John Arias connecting play. They want Luis Díaz isolated wide. They want Cordoba or Suarez attacking the box. They want to create through quality and movement. DR Congo wants something different. They want transitions, they want duels, they want long balls into dangerous zones, they want to test Colombia's defensive reactions, they want Visa running at space, they want Bakambu or whoever starts up front attacking the box before Colombia are set. And Colombia's coach knows this is a different test. DR Congo are not Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan sat deep and waited. DR Congo can defend deep, yes, but they can also explode out of it. That is what makes them dangerous. You can be in control for 5 minutes and then suddenly you are sprinting back towards your own goal, wondering where everyone went. Which is always a fun moment for a back four. Colombia's danger is clear. If they rely too much on Luis Díaz, DR Congo can overload that side, foul him, frustrate him, and make someone else solve the match. James needs to be more influential. Arias needs to connect the attack. The midfield needs to stop sterile possession from becoming sideways football with a nice shirt. But I still trust Colombia slightly more. Why? Because they already have the win. They have confidence. They have attacking variety. And Díaz looks sharp. DR Congo will score. I think they have enough pace and physicality to create at least one big chance. But Colombia should have enough quality to edge it. My prediction? Colombia win. Most likely scores? Colombia 2 DR Congo 1. Or Colombia 1 DR Congo 1. I'm choosing Colombia 2 DR Congo 1. But this is not a comfortable prediction. DR Congo can absolutely take a point. And if they do, Portugal suddenly starts sweating even more. So with these predictions, Portugal beat Uzbekistan. Colombia beat DR Congo. The table after Matchday 2 becomes Colombia 6 points, Portugal 4 points, DR Congo 1 point, Uzbekistan 0 points. And that gives the group a new shape. Colombia are basically through. Portugal are in a much better position, but still not top. DR Congo are still alive for third, but direct qualification becomes very difficult. Uzbekistan are almost out, but they still have DR Congo. And that matters, because the final match day would give us Colombia versus Portugal for first place, DR Congo versus Uzbekistan for third place. That is a much cleaner group than it looks right now. But Portugal's dropped points mean Colombia now control the race for top spot. That is the key change. Final match day. Colombia versus Portugal. And this is now the group final. Before the tournament, I had Portugal winning Group K. After match day 1, I am changing that. Because Colombia already have the advantage. If Colombia beat DR Congo, they come into this match with 6 points. Portugal, even if they beat Uzbekistan, come in with 4. That means Portugal probably need to win to top the group. Colombia only need a draw. And that changes the tactical picture. Colombia do not need to chase. They can be compact, they can pick moments, they can let Portugal have phases of possession and then attack through Díaz. Portugal, meanwhile, have to be more proactive. And that can become awkward, because Portugal's problem against DR Congo was not possession. It was what they did after possession. If Colombia sit in a mid-block, protect the middle, and force Portugal to create under pressure, the same issue could come back. Lots of nice passes, very pretty, very technical. And then someone shoots from 25 yards, because nobody actually broke the line. Portugal have the quality to win this match. Of course they do. Bruno can create, Bernardo can control, Leon can beat players, Vitinha can set the rhythm, Ronaldo or Ramos can attack the box. And with Ruben Díaz back, the defensive base should be better. But Colombia have the one thing Portugal should be worried about: direct threat. Luis Díaz running at defenders, Arias combining, James finding the pass, Cordoba giving them a physical presence. Colombia can hurt Portugal in ways DR Congo hinted at, but with more technical polish. This could be a really good match. But because Colombia only need a draw, and because Portugal have not yet shown enough cutting edge, I'm going for a draw. My prediction? Draw. Most likely scores: Colombia 1, Portugal 1, or Colombia 2, Portugal 1. I'm choosing Colombia 1, Portugal 1. Portugal improve, Portugal compete, but Colombia do enough to win the group. The other final match is DR Congo versus Uzbekistan, and this becomes the third place final. For DR Congo, the mission is simple: win. They would finish on 4 points if they draw Colombia, but in my scenario, they only have 1 point before this game, so they need 3. For Uzbekistan, this is their best chance to make history. They already scored their first World Cup goal against Colombia. Now they want points. And this is the match where they can realistically get them. They will not have to face Portugal's technical overload. They will not have to chase Luis Díaz all night. They will face a physical, direct team, and they can compete if they stay organized. But DR Congo's athleticism is a real problem. They are faster. They are stronger in transition. They have more power in duels. And they have confidence from the Portugal result. Even if they lose to Colombia, they will still know they can hurt teams at this level. Uzbekistan will fight. Cannavaro will demand more bravery. They will try to play with less fear than in the first match. They will use Shomurodov. They will look for Faizulayev. They will try to make the game more controlled. But DR Congo are the better match for chaos. And if this game opens up, I trust DR Congo more. My prediction, DR Congo win. Most likely scores, DR Congo 2, Uzbekistan 1, or DR Congo 2, Uzbekistan 0. I'm choosing DR Congo 2, Uzbekistan 1. Uzbekistan score again, they fight. But DR Congo's power gets them the win and maybe keeps them alive in the third place race. So here is my updated Group K prediction. Before the tournament, I had Portugal first, Colombia second, DR Congo third, Uzbekistan fourth. After Matchday 1, I'm changing the top. My updated final table is first, Colombia 7 points, second, Portugal 5 points, third, DR Congo 4 points, fourth, Uzbekistan 0 points. Yes, Colombia first, Portugal second. That is the big change. And Portugal only have themselves to blame. If you draw the opener against DR Congo after having 75% possession and one shot on target, you do not get to complain when Colombia take control of the group. That is how football works. The table is not interested in your passing accuracy. Colombia first makes sense now. They won the opener. They have Díaz in form. They have momentum. And if they beat DR Congo, they can manage the Portugal match from a position of strength. Portugal second still feels likely because they should beat Uzbekistan. But they need to sharpen up quickly, because if they do not, this group can become genuinely dangerous. DR Congo third with 4 points is very possible, and 4 points could be enough to reach the round of 32. They have already shown they can frustrate a major team. Now they need to prove they can beat the team they are expected to beat. That is a different kind of pressure. Uzbekistan fourth is harsh, but the draw is brutal. Colombia, Portugal, DR Congo. For a first World Cup, that is not a welcome party. That is a stress test with flags. So in my first prediction, I was right about one thing. DR Congo were dangerous. That was absolutely true. But I was wrong about Portugal. I trusted their quality to solve the opener. They did not. I was right that Colombia should beat Uzbekistan. But even there, Uzbekistan showed enough spirit to remind me that debutants are not automatically passengers. The big story of Group K is no longer. Can DR Congo make the group chaotic? They already have. The new story is, did Portugal just hand Colombia control of Group K? Because Colombia are top, Portugal are chasing, DR Congo are alive, and Uzbekistan still have a chance to damage someone's tournament. So my updated prediction is Colombia first, Portugal second, DR Congo third, Uzbekistan fourth. Now tell me in the comments, are Portugal still going to win Group K? Or did Colombia just steal first place?